Ho, 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 and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic. And today, I'm talking about one of those newfangled Christmas movies that they throw at you every year. This one is the one that Paramount Plus put out. This is Dear Santa. Uh, this film has so much promise to it. I mean, wow. We got Jack Black in a film that is directed by Bobby Farrelly and produced by Peter Farrelly. So it is sort of a Farrelly Brothers movie because they are together on this, just in different stations. So I'm going to say it's a Farrelly Brothers movie because they're together. Um, a lot of times we've used Coen Brothers movies when only one of them is directing and the other one is writing. So, it's fine. Um, so this new Farrelly Brothers movie it has audio description. That's a good thing. It's abysmal. Uh, I don't know what's happening, guys. I hated Nutcrackers. We got a good Santa, and I just about Dear Santa. I really don't know what to do with these movies. It's funny because I've actually enjoyed some of these just sort of mundane, um, cookie cutter Netflix romantic comedy Christmas movies more than I have these big studio movies with major stars. Um, Dear Santa starts out with, this kid is 11 and his parents are debating about like telling him that Santa isn't real, so he'll stop writing a letter to Santa. They're like, isn't he too old for this? And I'm like, don't parents usually like the fact that their kid still has some sort of magic in Christmas? Why are their parents actively trying to ruin Christmas for their child? This is such a weird family. Um, but so he writes a letter to Santa, but the gimmick here is this kid can't spell. So he writes a letter to Satan instead. So anyway, in comes in Satan, for all intents and purposes, in form of Jack Black, who who is so touched that somebody wrote him a letter that he decides to grant this kid three wishes. I don't know, man. This movie makes no sense. But along the way, of course, is sort of like how Melissa McCarthy hung around for Genie and just did like other stuff too. Jack Black just kind of does things all the time to just like Genie and Aladdin does too, just magic along the way, to sort of prove, and becomes like a cuddly version of Satan in some ways. But I mean, he's never really bad enough. The thing is that this movie's aimed at kids, at like a PG audience. It didn't take the bad Santa route for it. This is not an R-rated movie that really sort of pokes fun at Christmas movies. This didn't do that. This tries to, even though it has Farrelly Brothers, even though it absolutely should have, it is way too interested in being widely accessible. So instead of trying to just worry about being funny, it's worried about not pushing its boundaries too hard, because Jack Black is playing Satan, even though he transforms himself because the kid is really stupid. And so he's like, no, Santa, and he transforms himself into Santa. So once he realizes what the kid did, and the kid had spelling problems, and he's like, Santa's granting you three wishes. Every time I was watching this movie, I just wanted to stop watching it. Um, he has a friend in this movie who I think might be dying of cancer. I still don't know if that was a running joke or if the kid is actually dying of cancer. Um, but it's and I don't know. And the kid himself actually has this sort of really emotionally manipulative hook in his life, which they use at the end, by the way, to give you this sort of like unearned, warm, fuzzy feeling at Christmas time. Has the weirdest out of left, angle ending to it, because the film evolves in a way where it's like, oh, well, we're having fun, but oh man, we need to have some sort of an emotional, dramatic pull here. So it tries to pull you back in. The parents are having some issues. Of course they are, because they're the kind of parents that want to just tell their kids that Santa doesn't exist. Kids tend to kind of figure stuff out on their own eventually. Um, it's just weird that the parents are like, "Nah, we got to tell them," you know. So yeah, they're having marriage troubles, which and then there's a twist with Jack Black's character, and the film has this twist at an end, and you're supposed to feel good about it. This film doesn't work on any level. It wasn't funny. I felt bad for Jack Black. I was like, he probably signed on without a script, thinking he was signing on, and he was like, "Oh, this film sounds cool," and Farrelly Brothers, right? Because people could make that mistake. You could make that mistake. He gets a paycheck. He's like, "Oh, the Farrelly Brothers are developing this movie. I'm sure it'll be great." And this is not good on any level. Like, I hate the fact that I've seen this. Um, it's one of the worst films of the year, and I thought Nutcrackers was bad, and the thing is, I'm trying to think about like other films comparatively that I've seen this year. I've still seen worse movies. I can definitely say that. And because some films have like very little talent behind the camera or in front of the camera, and I will say that there are a couple times where a joke lands. And Jack Black is really trying here. He's not just phoning it in. Um, and there's a little bit of that devilish side of him that he used to really embrace when he was in Tenacious D, that rock vibe, that he hasn't really been able to dive too much into, that he seems to be genuinely enjoying. So all that kind of stuff comes through here, making it, but it is not a good movie. Um, so unfortunately, even though this is my Christmas movie review of the day, I'm here to tell you, skip this one. I'm giving Dear Santa a D plus. And I actually wanted to see this. Like, I actually wanted to see Nutcrackers. I actually wanted to see Dear Santa. I went into both of these films optimistically thinking, I will like these movies. Critics be damned. I was wrong. So, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.